So the first thing I will do is to work on my front pattern. I just went down to the blouse length that I want. What I use here is 21 inches. So I'm going to highlight my waist point. Then I also decided to use 20 inches instead of 21 inches. So yeah. Now I'm going to take my dart from the center. I took 4 inches from the center, okay? Then I'm going to connect it to that point. This is just the lower part of the dress. Alright, so I'm going to remove the front from the lower part because we don't need it. So I'll just cut out the design at the lower end. I'm also going to remove the dart intake we took in our pattern drafting. Okay, so now for the front pattern, I'm going to work on it as well. And we're going to extend the front pattern down a little bit. So I just added paper to what I had there already. Then I just came down by about 4 to 5 inches. And then I'm going to curve it out a little bit. This is just to give me allowance to do my pleating. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead to work on the back pattern. So this is what we have on the front and on the back pattern. Now at the side of your own upper part in the front, please go ahead to add about 2 inch extra because we're going to pleat that part. So I was not supposed to cut it out. I was supposed to add 2 inches to it. Okay. Now on the back pattern, I'm going to do the same thing. Mark the blouse length that I wanted. Take out my dart, and here I'm just going to try to cut out like a princess cut, just like what we have at the back part of the dress. So I just did more like a princess cut. Make sure you place your curve correctly. You can see what I did there. So I'm going to create a little bit of that at this point. This is just to avoid gaping at that particular point. So yeah. So after that is done, I'll replace the 1 inches that I took away from the armhole. I'll replace it to the side, and then I'll just extend this like this. So this is all the pattern that I have. This is the down part of the front, the back, and that is the side of the back. So now I'm going to go ahead to cut them out on my fabric, and this is what I'm going to have to do at this point. So for the sewing part, we're going to start sewing from anywhere. You can start from the front or from the back, anyone you basically want to do. So also note that I added allowances at the places that I should add allowance. Now I'm going to start with the front, and first I'll go and sew my button and button allowance space. Now that I've gone ahead to sew the button and button allowance space, I'm just going to pin the center so that it's not going to moving around. Then I'll go ahead to create my pleats at this point. So you can pin it down or you can take it to your machine to do it. But I'm going to show you how I do the pleating on my machine. So you can just watch at this point. Alright, so I've gone ahead to add the down part of the front. I've also added the 2 inches to the sides. So make sure you add yours in your pattern drafting. Okay, I completely forgot. So next we're going to go ahead to hem the down part. I completely forgot to shoot when I was sewing the down part. Now for us to work on the back, we have to create our should I call it highlights loops? We have to create our loops for the back. So I'm going to cut out a 2 inch wide fabric. I don't remember how long this was, but it was actually pretty long. So I'm just going to use this to create my rope and also create my loops. I'm going to place the rope aside and work on the one I want to use for the loops, and that is going to go to the center back. So now determine where you want to put your loops and then go ahead to mark it. Then I'm going to just fold in about 1.5 inch just to see if that is wide enough, and I just went ahead to cut out the pieces for the remaining loops. You get what I'm doing? Alright, so now you're just going to go ahead to sew this on the dress. So this is what it looks like. The next thing is just to join the sides to it. You can pin this down because this part could be a little bit tricky. So this is what we have now. It's all coming together honestly. Then we're going to introduce the front and we'll join them at the shoulder. So go ahead to join it at the shoulder at this point. The next thing I'm going to do is to hem the down part of my front. Sorry, the down part of my back. Then I'll go ahead to join it by the sides. After that, I went ahead to work on the neckline. Remember that when we're drafting our pattern, we did not really cut out any neck for the dress, literally. So I went down about 3.5 to 4 inches until I had 8 inches on fold. So now I'm going to go ahead to work on my sleeve. I'll go ahead to cut my sleeve, and you can see I've already ironed the front pleat and also the back as well. So the sleeve we are working with is a funnel sleeve. So you can go ahead to cut it together or you cut it separately. I like to cut it separately because I feel like it just makes the funnel sleeve bigger for me, but you can still cut it out on fold. So this is what I did. I just opened it and then I cut it out singly so that I can place this one on the fabric to cut out the second one. So this is what the sleeve looks like at this point. I'm just going to shape it a little bit and also trim the sides. Next thing we'll do now is to hem the down part of the sleeve. Then we're going to come to attach the sleeve to the body. So you're just going to measure and then determine where you're going to sew the sleeve from. If you want to add pleats to your sleeve, you can add pleats to your sleeve at this point. So I'll go ahead and sew it like that. Alright, so this is what this is looking like at this point. The remaining thing for us to do is our collar and then our button and our buttonholes. But I'm going to put that in another video because this is already long as it is. So we'll do the collar and the buttonhole in another video. Bye.